Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Investor of the Year Awards.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Let me get my team. Kali, how are you doing?
I am great, Daniel. How are you?
No, all good. Super excited. The Investor of the Year is upon us. I'm super excited for that competition. But how was your weekend, Kali?
My weekend was great. My Monday was interesting. It's a national shutdown, so I'm going to be joining everybody from home. And as always, I'm standing in for Andrew because he just doesn't love us anymore. But that's fine. I love you guys and everybody that's watching us. But my weekend was quite chilled, nothing too hectic. And yours?
Oh, quite good. I actually had good fun, spent some time with family, some loved ones, had a good time this weekend, took it easy and what have you. But ladies and gents, let us know where you are joining us from and who is on the line. Use the comment section down below, tag some family, friends. Let us know what you are up to on this national shutdown. It would be interesting to see what everyone is doing. Hey, Kali, so what's on your plans for the rest of the day?
So on the agenda today, we have two amazing guests that we're going to be introducing. Well, they're going to be introducing themselves a little later. So as Daniel said, can you please tell us in the chat box where you guys are from? As you know, the ongoing war between Cape Town and Johannesburg will forever last till the dawn of time. But just let us know where you're going if you're from Joburg, Cape Town, Pretoria, and everywhere else in between. But what we're going to be doing is that we're going to be hitting up the events. So why don't you just let everybody know what's going to be coming up on our SAPN calendar.
Awesome. Hey? So just looking at the events for the next couple of weeks and for the rest of March, on the 23rd, we are having a coaching and legal support for all of our members, so professional and intermediate members. You have a free chance to ask as many questions as possible. It's once every month. We have a group coaching session and we invite our attorneys, we invite our accountants to ensure that you are getting advice from the experts. So that will be on the 23rd of March. And on the 25th, actually, we are having a SAPN women's event all around marching to the beats of your own drums, which is quite cool. Marisha and the team always have some awesome, unique initiatives for our SAPN women, which is always good. And looking further down the line, on the 28th of February, we are having an expert webinar with myself and the head of APSA's first-time home buyers, product designer, all around. Should your first property be an investment, or should it be your primary residence? This being for most young professionals that are looking to enter the property industry. It is good fun, good value. And closing off the month, actually, the last event of this month is our monthly masterminds. And for those that aren't too familiar with the masterminds, our masterminds is an opportunity to keep you accountable, because we all in this property industry, everyone that is in it, understand it's almost as if you're an entrepreneur, and sometimes you do lack consistency, and that's what the masterminds are meant to address. So we meet once every month. There's expert coaches, depending on what level you are. We've got expert rooms for developers, people that are doing commercial deals. We've got people starting out looking to buy their first few properties, intermediate groups, depending on where you fall under, depends on what mastermind room you are part of. And it's all around having additional support, having an accountability buddy who's on a similar journey as you, or is looking to do what you are doing as well. So to hold each other accountable, set goals for the month, review previous goals, and address some of the things that aren't working. And if we are looking maybe further on the 20th of April, we are having a networking event with business partners, which is one of our partners, all around green funding for people that are playing in the property industry. We're also going to be reviewing the budget speech by the minister a few weeks ago. How does that influence property investors and entrepreneurs and the whole value chain. So it's quite a few events coming through.
That was a mouthful. That was a mouthful, but I hope everybody knows that each and every single one of those events are absolutely amazing and full of knowledge and information and education. But when we go to the chat box, we see that we have Daniel, who is from George in the Western Cape. But we also have Jerry, who's joining us from Nairobi. We have you. Okay, one, two. I want to say this name right. Mteteleli. Ha! Look at the Lord. Mteteleli. He is from Iten Haji. I do not know.
Winners know when to stop, Kali.
No, I really thought I had something. I was like, oh my word. I got them Teteleli part, but yeah, the Iten Haji part, I don't know. But thank you very much, Teteleli, for joining us. And from everybody who's joining us from all over, thank you so much. Like I said, we are discussing Investor of the Year. So think of the Summers or the Grammys, but for property, right? And the beauty about it is that it's bigger, it's better, and it's more amazing because we have more categories, first of all. And then we also have niche categories because a lot of the time people feel nervous, and thank you for showing that. People feel nervous in order, to enter the competition because they feel like, well, I'm starting out, or maybe my property doesn't quite fit in this demographic. So as you can see, we literally have beginners, intermediate, big leagues, green, youth, social change, most innovative, SAP and women who are actually going to win overall. I prophesy it into the universe, #manifest. And also township. And I think the one that my block is blocking is inner city. Am I right, Daniel? Or which one is that one?
Yeah, definitely. So inner city, these are mostly CBD types properties. If you are investing there, it's another opportunity for you not only to enter the competition, like Kali said, it is the biggest in the country. We've got some awesome partners coming on board. Absa Bank is our official sponsor for the Investor of the Year category, for the Investor of the Year competition. So make sure you are entering. There's so many good categories, like Kali said. The youth category is a new one. So for anyone under the age of 35 who, number one, is running a sustainable business in the property sector, it's an amazing opportunity for you to also enter the competition. Or if you did a first property deal, whether it's a flip, whether it's a buy-to-let, under the age of 35, you get a chance to win some amazing prizes, which we will talk about later. But Kali, should we maybe go on to introducing who we have joining us, our guest speakers?
Yes, I absolutely do want that. These lovely individuals are one of the first ones to enter the Investor of the Year. So I'm going to give each of them an opportunity to introduce themselves to us and advise us on who they are and what they do. So we'll start with ladies, because we're more awesome than you guys. But Simone, welcome, and could you kindly introduce yourself?
Hi everyone. My name is Simone Myberg. I am a full-time customer services consultant for a company called Grinding Media South Africa, and I'm a mom of 2 boys.
Fantastic.
I've always had a passion for property, and in 2021, I decided to take a leap of faith and buy my first property.
And how was that journey for you?
Very interesting because it was during COVID. So the paperwork took quite some time, 5 to 6 months. So there was many challenges involved because the sellers were also not from South Africa. So it was quite a challenge, very interesting.
Interesting. So we're going to unpack that a little later, but on to our next contestant, Virgil. Could you kindly introduce yourself?
Hi guys, and hi to everyone online. My name is Virgil Maswabi. I'm 38 years old. I've been married for about going for 2 years now, and I'm full-time employed at one of the metros, and I reside in the East Rand. And like Simone, my property journey also started during the whole COVID thing, where it afforded me a bit more time to look into going into property investing, getting some education, and yeah, that's where it started.
Geez, that sounds amazing. And just so the records are clear, these are my 2 contestants I'm backing all the way for the Investor of the Year. They are the first 2 from the lovely city of Johannesburg. And everyone else, please make sure you are following Virgil on Facebook. Virgil will be posting a video of when he went skydiving this
Wow,
past
Daniel.
weekend. And he was crying.
The pressure, Daniel, but okay, I'll embarrass myself and I'll put up the video, but I had a blast, yeah.
Awesome. Perfect. I maybe want to go into the deals in more detail, and maybe we'll start with Simone. Simone, can you maybe tell us a bit about the deal that you're working on? I know you started slightly on there. It was during COVID. The sellers were out of the country. What sort of property transaction did you enter into the Investor of the Year for all of our viewers and listeners? And please make sure you are asking all sorts of questions down below. We are going to have a Q&A section towards the end of this to review all questions. But on to you, Simone.
Okay, so my deal it's my first time property, as I mentioned before, and I think I entered the 7 women category or the beginner category because it's my first property. It was a flat in a secure complex, very safe and secure complex, but it was an abandoned flatlet, so it needed a lot of work. I found the property on Property 24 and contacted the agent, made an offer. The selling price was 425,000. I made a cash offer of 415,000, which they accepted. So the sale went through in May, but the actual transfer process, like I mentioned before, took about 5 months. It was a flip, so my whole idea was to renovate the property. It was an entire remodel from scratch, so every single room needed to be redone, the kitchens, the bathrooms. It was a 3-bedroom ground unit, so I knew that there was an opportunity in selling it very quickly. The only problem for me was the delay in the transfer. It just took longer than I expected it to. But eventually, when the sale was through in October, we immediately started with the flip. By December, we were done. By January, the following year, 2022, we listed the property. And in March, it was sold. I got a buyer and I sold it for 680,000. So
Yeah, thank you so much for that. Huh? Yeah.
No, I was saying that I think the return on investment was quite good.
Yeah, definitely. And so we're just going to put this on the screen. Make sure you are supporting your locals entering the Investor of the Year. This is Simone's Hunger Games image all around the type of deals and what to look forward to. And these are some of the pictures, some before and after pictures of the ground unit. Hey, Simone?
Yes.
So this is a before picture and after. You did quite a bit of work on it. Hey? It looks amazing. And some of the numbers is you purchased it for around 435,000 rand. You spent 62,000 rand renovating and then sold it for 680. And there's quite a good return, like you put it on with 28%. But if we had to talk about some of the challenges you faced, number one, when you pitched, you mentioned you did not estimate that the transferring stage was so long. Hey? And number two is I think the sellers went in South Africa. So how was that experience and like them signing transfer documents and they're not based in South Africa? Did that add more time to it? How did that affect your holding costs and everything?
Yeah, so that was quite a big challenge for us because I had to communicate through the attorneys, and I also struggled to get hold of the sellers. It was quite a frustrating process because the sellers was divorced. It was very complicated. Eventually, the one owner became sick with he had COVID. He ended up in hospital. So the process was, very frustrating. As I mentioned, I expected it to take about 3 months. It ended up being 5 months, almost 6 months. Then my attorney also had COVID. She had COVID twice. You would send emails, there's no response. You would follow up, there's no response. So it was very frustrating because I felt like I was wasting a lot of time. Because my whole idea was to get in, to flip as soon as possible, and to sell as soon as possible.
Yeah, definitely. And for those that aren't too familiar with flipping, That's the whole goal. You do not want to hold on to the property for too long.
Yes.
Just because when you hold on to it, you are liable to pay things like your levies, your special levies, your rates and taxes and everything. But just let me know, Simone, what's one big lesson you got out of flipping this property during the time you flipped it in?
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest lessons for me was to try and be present with the whole renovation process. Try and stick to your budget. Shop around for different products. Don't just buy at your nearest, retailer or wholesaler. Shop around for cheaper products. In my case, we only went to CTM. We only went to Leroy Merlin's. So that's one of the advice I would give. And then when you do sell the property, try not to sign a sole mandate. I think try and list your property with at least up to 3 agents.
Yeah, definitely. You obviously want to ensure that you're not tied down to an agent that is not the most motivated to sell your property as soon as possible.
Yes, definitely.
Awesome. So ladies and gents, please ensure if you have any questions, please make sure you do use the comment section down below. We are going to take more questions towards Simone a bit later. I maybe wanted to move on to Virgil as well. So Virgil, do you want to maybe tell everyone about the deal that you entered into the Investor of the Year?
Okay. So my deal is in Boksburg. It's in Commissioner Street. We actually started with this deal during, I think, late 2021. And it is a buy-to-let. It's a commercial and it's a multi-let. So it has 2 shops, which is the commercial aspect, and then it has 20 units, which is bachelor units that we have there. The purchase price on the property was 2.9, and we then went through to Tufts. Tufts is the financier. So Tufts approved it for that 2.9. We have refurbishment costs there of 300 and something thousand that we're going to do on it. And it's actually still ongoing. So what we're still waiting to take transfer, hopefully in this week. And what we will then do is then we can proceed and start with the refurbishments.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And this was also quite this is also quite a long ongoing deal, Virgil.
Yeah, that is
how
one
long
of the
have you been waiting for a transfer?
Geez, that's one of the challenges that we've been sitting with. What actually happened was it was bought through a company and we bought it through the agent it was an auctioneer, but what happened was that it went out on auction. It wasn't sold. We then picked it up from the auction once it never sold there. So we didn't buy it out at the auction, but we then bought it after from through that. But what happened was go through a company. One of the gentlemen actually passed on, and that also was a bit of an issue and a struggle. That is one of the challenges that was delaying the whole transfer cost, or not cost, but the transfer period.
Yeah, definitely. And if we look at some of the numbers as you put it, the purchase price 2.9 million. It's 300,000 rand refurb needed. There's quite a huge chunk of renovations, and maybe just on the renovations, Virgil, what is say your plan to stick to budget? Number one, I would say, because I've never been able to, on all the properties I've done, renovations is probably the most difficult thing to keep on budget, because if you do let it run too much, it can eat into your entire profit. So what are you doing to maybe ensure it's like staying at that 900,000 or 370,000 that you have there?
Actually, that amount is not actually too efficient, or it's quite little. So what we've been I've been going back and forth with the contractor, and yeah, we definitely it is quite a challenge because we need to try and get the outside at least looking a bit of in a good standard, and then Yeah, so it's not really much that we need to do, but it is a challenge, Daniel, like you said, having to go back and forth, changing the numbers and whatever. I'm gonna go through that process, so I don't know all the challenges as yet, but I'm hoping that it goes smooth.
Awesome, huh? And that's perfect. And what would you say is a big lesson you've learned through this process? Has there been any huge lessons that do stand out when you think of the deal?
Look, yeah, no, it is. When it comes to like you just timing and everything, working out your time, I don't know if you can be 100% in control of that, but definitely trying to stay in contact with all the parties and the different professionals that you have. And yeah, I think that is one of the biggest lessons that I've learned, that you need to factor in just a bit more of time, because there is unforeseen circumstances that happen.
Yeah, as with every deal, especially deals of such magnitudes, always have some exit strategies. Understand the rentals as well is a big one. You do not want to thumb suck just any
Yeah,
amount and think
yeah,
you can charge it later. Hey? But
yeah.
also, maybe we should maybe review the events. Hey, Kali.
Yes, we can review the events, and then after that, we're going to be going back to Simone and Virgil, because I have a very intricate question for them regarding Investor of the Year and the process that they'll be going through and how they found it. But let's hit up everybody regarding the events that are going to be happening. But also, please don't forget to ask your questions in the chat box. If you have any questions for Simone or Virgil regarding the Investor of the Year, and also just you trying to understand how you enter, which category you could fall under, please put all of your questions regarding that in the chat box, and then we will ask them a little bit later. But here's another mouthful that Daniel's going to give us regarding events. What's going to be happening in the next couple of weeks?
Awesome. So again, on the 23rd of March, for all of our professional and intermediate members, we are having our monthly group coaching, virtual group coaching, and legal support session. That's literally where there is an expert property coach. We invite our attorneys, our accountants, to ensure that all of our members are getting the most amount of support as possible. So for all of our intermediate and professional members, make sure you are signed in and ready to go with all of your questions. And on the 25th of March, we are having a SAPN Women's event. It is an online event, and the theme is marching around the beat of your own drum. Again, amazing initiative that Marisha heads up throughout the country with her different team members, SAPN Women, all around empowering women and allowing women to enter the property industry in great numbers and take control of their own financial lives. And on the 28th, myself and the head of ABSA Home Loans, not the head of ABSA Home Loans, the head of ABSA's first-time home buyer product, Zyda, will be talking about should your first property be an investment or should it be a primary residence? So for all the first-time home buyers that are out there, it's a good opportunity to ask questions, to hear from myself and Zyda, the pros and cons to having an investment as your first property or having a primary residence. So make sure you are tagging as many individuals that are looking to buy the first property on that poll. And then last event of the month is our monthly masterminds for all of our professional members. Again, another value add to ensure that you are setting the right goals, you are hitting them, and you get support throughout your journey as well for all of our professional members, Kali.
Alrighty then. So if you did not hear anything that Daniel said, you can go to our events tab on our website to go and check out what events that are coming up. But what I want to know from both of you guys, Virgil and Simone, we'll start again with Simone. What has the process of entering into Investor of the Year been like? Were you scared? Were you nervous? What was the decision that you took upon yourself to finally decide, you know what, I'm actually going to enter? Because especially we found that ladies tend to be very risk adverse. So we don't have like a high influx of women entering the Investor of the Year. So what was your leap of faith and the confidence that you garnered in order to enter?
So my whole motivation behind entering the competition was I wanted to use it as a platform to network and to grow and to learn how to grow my property portfolio from there. So that was, I think, the main reason to be inspired by others and see what it is that they were doing. And that was one of my biggest motivations, as well as doing something that would, make my boys proud and be like, wow, look at, what my mom is getting involved in. So this is quite something very big, and that's the reason I took the leap of faith.
That is amazing. I think I once heard a quote that said, if you don't believe in yourself, believe in the people that believe in you. Right. And the fact that you've used, your beautiful kids to use that as inspiration, that goes for everybody else. And Virgil, what was your inspiration and what was the process like for you to enter?
Well, Kali, for me, it was about, like I said this year, that one of my goals was to network and put myself out there. I've definitely, when we did go and do the pitch, that was my first time. And I was really nervous. But yeah, that's what I said. I want to push myself, and like Simone also said that one of the reasons is that I want to network, and I've learned that with the property thing that you need a network, and just to also one of the other things is that just entering would get you some credibility in the game as well, and yeah, and winning would just be great.
I would assume so, guys. These are our first contestants. So Virgil and Simone, in terms of the process of, entering. But Daniel, I believe you have a question for them also.
Yeah, definitely. And I was present when they both did pitch. They did such an amazing job. And Investor of the Year is more than just property. It's around the stories, the lives people change as well. And it's not a platform where you are judged and harshly criticized. As Virgil and Simone will tell you, that there's also property coaching that comes into play, and the different experts in the room present different challenges that maybe the investors did not think of, different approaches they could have taken to maybe optimize their deals better, make more money, shorten periods between the different sections. So for any single individual out there that has done a deal over the past 12 months, please make sure you are entering the Investor of the Year Awards. It's all around supporting you through your journey, but also making other South Africans aware of the different possibilities property has, and the power property has over you, being able to give you the power to do multiple things. And the stories we hear is just changing. Simone has such an amazing story. And for those of you that want to see her and Virgil and back them during the next rounds of judging, the good thing is they have made it to the next round, where they get to pitch again with other coaches and other judges. And these judges are world-class investors in their own rights. If you do want to just come and watch the pitching sessions, it is also allowed. Make sure that you are emailing support@sapropertyinvestorsnetwork.com. And yeah, you get a chance to follow it. You get a chance to enter your deals as well. Please make sure you are entering in large numbers, and you nominating people that are going to be, that you feel have a good chance of making it. But Kali, there's quite a few questions, huh?
Yes, we do have questions, and please keep them coming. So any questions you might have regarding Simone or Virgil or Virgil's deal, and also Investor of the Year, please keep those questions. The first one we have is from Lucia, and she wants to know, Simone, which area was your property, the one you did such a phenomenal flip on?
Okay, so I bought the property in Boksburg, Boksburg, Johannesburg. It's an area called Ravenswood.
Alrighty then. So, ladies and gentlemen, remember, you have the entire scope to look for deals, because deals are absolutely everywhere. There is sometimes an assumption that only key areas have good deals, and then you'd miss out on great opportunities that people like Simone will take up and have great deals.
So just on that, Kali, just on that, for anyone that is looking to come towards the east of Johannesburg, around Edenvale, and those areas, there aren't any good deals this side. Huh? They're all finished. They've all been taken out. So yeah. So
don't gatekeep, Daniel. Don't gatekeep. No, there's tons of deals, ladies and gentlemen. When you have the right education and network, and being part of a network such as Sapin, you will find deals everywhere. Don't let Daniel deter you. Out here gatekeeping great deals. Cease, Daniel. Okay, our next question is for Virgil, and it's from Ryan. And Ryan is asking, Virgil, what is your rental strategy and rental numbers based on?
Look, I don't know if he means with regards to rental strategy. I do have a managing agent that is going to be running the property and running all the rentals for me. And the strategy or the numbers is based on, we have looked at there was current tenants in, what are they paying currently, looked at their lease agreements, and then also then went around, obviously looked at the adjacent properties and saw what, compared their numbers, their rental numbers to the number that we then came up with.
So your rentals was based obviously on the market, because you can't price yourself outside the market, i.e. it becomes pointless. So you took a scope of the market, and in turn that's what you used. Okay.
Yeah, and also just looking at the TPN report.
Yes. Okay, that's fantastic.
And just on that as well, Virgil, you're ultimately in competition with other landlords in the area, to make sure that your units are the most in demand and your units are the ones people want to go to. And I know Leroy is your coach.
Yes,
But what are some of the strategies that you do look at to ensure that you are ahead of your competition and other landlords in the area? What sort of things do you look to add into your unit to make it stand out and be in demand?
Yeah, look, Wi-Fi is definitely one thing that obviously most people need, and that could also just help. I have actually got few quotations looking into the solar thing to try and see if we can then avoid the whole load shedding thing, which I feel like would be a bit more attractive to some of the tenants than potential tenants. And yeah, just looking within the unit, if you can get like some pop-up colors, but more vibey and everything that will attract the tenants. Yeah.
Yes, maintenance is the key to always being a great landlord. When you service your tenants properly, and people know that if there's an issue, it gets adhered to in a timely manner, sets you apart from other landlords. So I'm very happy that you're already on that path. So as we keep going with the questions, I love this. This, I would suppose, is for Simone. It's from a gentleman who's asking, does the 62,000 renovation cost include all costs such as conveyancing, estate agent, and commission and holding costs that you had displayed previously, Simone?
No, that was excluding. So that 62,000 was just the renovation cost. So all the materials and the labor costs. So that was what that 62 came from. Yeah.
So then the conveyancing and estate agent and holding cost, that was a separate amount.
Yeah, that was totally separate.
Yeah. So we didn't want to send down the full breakdown, like Simone said. Literally, that was just the renovations, the material and the labor from the clients. But Simone, my question to you now is, obviously, when you go onto flipping a property, the whole idea, you buy low and you want to sell high.
Yes.
What happens if you can't sell the property? In your thinking, was there ever a scenario where you listed the property and for whatever reason, no one came to you with the offer that made sense for you? What would you have done in that scenario?
Yeah. So in that scenario, one of the first options for me was to rent out the property for at least a year, and then only try and sell it again. So that was one of the options. The other option was also to look at reducing my profit, because the margins was quite high, the return was quite high. So I was willing to come down on my selling price, at least to like 600,000 instead of 680,000. Yeah, but I was consistent with keeping it at that price, and the agent was also convinced that we could sell it at 680.
Yeah, definitely. I think what I'm taking from your response, number one, be super certain with your resale value. You do not want to price yourself too much where the market doesn't dictate that amount. And then number two is, before you enter any sort of property transaction, make sure you have as many exit strategies as possible.
Yes.
So if you can't resell it in 4 months' time, and that period you're still paying a bond or
Yes.
however you chose to finance it. Can you put a tenant to cover these expenses? It's quite a good thing to do before you even buy that property.
Yes.
But yeah, thanks for that, Sim.
Well, fantastic. As we keep the questions coming, Simone, you did mention that there was a bit of a delay in terms of your holding costs, because what we had initially anticipated to be a holding cost ended up getting extended. So Zamugushe wants to know, my question to Simone is, what was her return on investment before the delays with the registration?
I didn't look at the numbers before, but I mean, my return on investment, the money that I made, the profit was all after registration and after I sold the property. So it wasn't before. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you did you get early occupation by any chance?
I was lucky enough. So the buyer actually rented the property. She took occupational rent for 2 months before the transfer went through. So that was also quite something good that came out of the property.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's great. Yeah, that actually is awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any more questions, please put them in the chat box. So you can ask Virgil or Simone, or you can even ask us regarding the questions for Investor of the Year award. Virgil had mentioned earlier on that he wanted to be part of a network, and he understands that if you want to grow your property portfolio, and if you want to have a healthy property portfolio, you need to have a network. And what we've seen in the past is that winners of Investor of the Year have more credibility when it comes to financing, and they have more credibility when it comes to lending money, because if you are garnered and associated with things such as Investor of the Year awards, there is more credibility for you as an investor and an entrepreneur trying to get more financing or potentially have more deals. So it is absolutely in your best favor to enter the Investor of the Year award.
Definitely. Thank you so much for that, Kali. And I definitely agree with everything that you have said. And I have what the team have done is they've posted the links in the comment section down below. So make sure you are checking out the Investor of the Year website. You make yourself familiar with some of the new changes coming up soon. And a good thing is we have a whole app built in as a community with all the judges that will be announced, and we're looking at some big players in the industry. But just looking a bit forward for Simone and Virgil and all the other contestants entering that are going to the next stage, make sure you are backing your local cities, investors that are looking to become the Investor of the Year. Very soon, Simone and Virgil will be on ENCA, SABC, 702, Power FM, talking about their deals and how property has an option and has given them power over their entire lives. So ensure that you are kept up to date. You're following your local heroes. This is a city war. We've not had a winner from Johannesburg yet. So that's a big drive this year. If we can get one winner from Johannesburg, it's going to be awesome. Having someone become the overall Investor of the Year. But as we are wrapping up, is there one thing maybe Virgil and Simone you'd like to leave the audience with?
Okay, I'll go ahead. I would say take a risk, but do your research and don't be afraid. There is plenty of opportunity in property, and there's various strategies. There's lots of coaches, and I mean, we have SA Property network that can help you in your journey. So definitely take a chance on it.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And you, Virgil, what do you have your last words?
Okay, I would say that to guys out there that is potentially thinking of entering the competition, don't be scared. Go or take the leap, and trust me, once you get there, do the pitch. It's quite interactive. It's very relaxed, and you even get a lot of insight from the judges. So if you do have something and you're considering joining the competition, go for it, guys. Go.
Fantastic. Thank you so much again to Simone and to Virgil, and to you guys who have joined us this afternoon. As always, we do this every single Monday, and we look forward to seeing you guys. But from me to you guys and our contestants, it's thank you, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.